So do you struggle hitting that 3-wood from the ground? Struggling to actually get the ball flighted? Maybe your strikes aren't as consistent as you like? Stay tuned to this video because I've got 2 golf clubs here that I think are secret weapons for a lot of golfers out there that will transform your fairway wood shots. Okay, welcome back to the channel everybody. So in this video you might relate to this. Do you struggle hitting your 3-wood from the ground? Struggling to actually get the ball flighted? For this video I've got a couple of clubs here that you might want to think about in this area, which I think will help a lot of golfers out there. So what we tend to see with a lot of golfers in the studio is to struggle to flight with that 3-wood, that 15-degree 3-wood. It's that second shot, maybe that long par 4, par 5, trying to get it into that green, want to try and get that distance there, but they're not getting the result and it's a little bit hit and miss. We see a lot of golfers tend to hit a little bit more down, maybe that's a swing path issue potentially, so if you come a little bit over the top, a little bit of a cutty, slicey sort of player, then you're generally going to come a little bit more down on that golf ball and that attack angle. When you do that, you will present typically less loft. So that 3-wood at 15 degrees gets turned down at impact. It's a struggle to get that ball flighted. So these couple of clubs that I've got in my hands here now, and most of the brands are offering this, has a little bit more loft. So you might have heard of the high launch 3-woods, or in old term, the 4-wood. Super popular and definitely helps golfers who struggle to flight the 3-wood get a little bit more air time on it. So I've just plucked a couple of 4-woods here and we're going to put them up against each other. I've got the new Titleist GT2 16.5 degrees, which is essentially that 4-wood sort of loft. And I've also got the Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke. They call it a 3HL. HL stands for high launch 3-wood. It's effectively the same thing, 16.5 degrees, it's in that 4-wood area. This video is sponsored by HelloFresh, which I love and use on a regular basis. We have a unique offer for you, 60% off your first box, followed by 20% off for the next 2 months, plus free desserts for life. Now, I'm definitely not a cook. In fact, making an omelette is as good as it gets for me. Plus, with a busy schedule of coaching and filming, finding time to think of meal ideas and then going out and shopping for ingredients is very difficult. This is where HelloFresh takes all the stress away. There's loads of recipes to choose from with simple step-by-step guides to follow, and all the ingredients are already measured out, which makes for zero wastage. As you'll see here, I'm cooking a venison steak with creamy mustard sauce served with rosemary potatoes and roasted pear salad. A big step up from an omelette. HelloFresh is very flexible. You can pause, cancel or change your delivery address whenever you want, so you're in full control of when you want your meals. So to take advantage of this unique offer of 60% off for your first box, followed by 20% off for the next 2 months, plus your free desserts for life, simply scan the QR code on screen or use the discount code Unique Newton on their website, which is linked in the description below. Bon appetit. So let's hit some shots. I'm going to start off with the Smoke first, the 3HL 16.5. We're going to have a little look at angle of attack and also a little bit of that flight. So the beauty I like a lot with the Smoke versions is, and you see this maybe with the Ping as well, is a great example, is this real sort of shallow, low profile head. Looks very inviting of getting that ball launched off the ground. And I think sometimes that's the big thing for a lot of golfers. When you sit it down by the ball, it's the confidence that you feel like you can get the ball flighted. Some of the deeper faced fairway woods, maybe your more traditional ones, will obviously be deep and it looks like the ball sits lower in the face. It just visually looks difficult to actually get the ball flighted. So these definitely have a part of this element of giving you some of that confidence of flighting it. Okay, and there's a beautiful high fly in fairway shot. So first number we want to really look at on that shot there, you can see attack angle, that far bottom right number. This is where we're hitting that ball on our arc. Are we hitting on the way down? Are we hitting at level part? Or are we hitting it on the way up? So minus is where we're hitting down on the golf ball. I would probably always recommend for golfers to hit just slightly down with the 3-wood or fairway wood. We don't want to get too steep on that, but at the same time we don't want to hit up on it because it's on the ground, it's sat low, isn't it, obviously? And if we hit up, we're probably going to hit ground before the ball, or we're going to hit it very low in the club face. We're just not going to get that ball speed and that crisp strike that we're looking for. Now, as I mentioned, down attack can present less loft. I'm lucky I've got a little bit of speed, but most golfers probably don't have enough speed or is slower, and that's just, again, makes it difficult to get the ball flighted and keep the ball in the air. So loft is going to be your friend. And that for me is where these 4-woods, 16.5 or the high launch 3-woods definitely come into it. So let's hit another one here. I'm just going to hit a little bit more down on this one. I'm trying to maybe swing a little bit left as well. Okay, that definitely felt a bit more into the ground, a little bit more steep on the ball. Again, that's flown up quite nicely. Yeah, 2.6, it was a little bit more down. I'm going to try and do another one, a little bit more than that. Okay, that definitely felt a little bit more down. A little bit of a squeezier flight, trying to peel off a little bit to the right. Yeah, and there we go, 3.4 down. So, as I say, we present that less loft. I need some more static loft to help me out. I'm turning this forward a little bit into like a 3 wood. So if you have a 3 wood, you turn it into a 2 wood, potentially. And it's sometimes just very difficult to get that ball flighted. And I think the other thing you've really got to think about as well, this is a perfect flat lie, great lie every single time. You throw yourself on the golf course, you could have that slight downhill lie. That ball could be just sort of sat in a little depression. You might just be off the fairway semi-rough, just sat down a little bit. Loft, again, is really going to be your friend. So some really nice shots there. That flowed up a bit off the toe, to be honest, but again, I've hit a little bit down. That's flighted up, it's launched at 11 degrees, super carry distance. Okay, so switching over into Titleist GT2, new release from Titleist. Now they don't call it 3 wood, 4 wood, 5 wood, they just have loft numbers on there. So we can see 16.5 as a loft, so obviously that is in that 4 wood area. 15 degrees typically 3 wood, 18 degree is generally in that 5 wood area. So sits right in between there. So again, Titleist, great look. Probably just looks a slightly deeper face. I'm just going to pop these up two side by side. Visually, it does look a little bit deeper, yeah, and it does sort of see not quite as low profile as the Callaway. So again, it's your perception there as you sit that down by that golf ball. Does that look inviting enough that feels like you can get the ball up in the air? If you know, launching is a little bit of an issue for yourself, it'll give you a bit of confidence, I would say. Yeah, that's got no issues of getting up into the air. Just a little bit down that left-hand side. But again, so I'm actually hitting a little bit more down on that than I would normally do, but the launch is still there with that extra bit of loft. So the other option you can do if you've got an adjustable fairway wood and it's 15 degrees, obviously you could change that neck setting and loft it up. Now, one thing just to be aware of when you do that with most brands, when you increase the loft, you are going to slightly close the club face. So if your particular miss as a right-handed golfer would be a little bit more right to left, overdrawing, maybe a little bit of a left miss, increasing loft and closing the face isn't really going to help you. So just be careful when you start adjusting loft on those neck sleeves. Okay, and there is a classic example. I have struck that quite low in the face, a little bit low in the heel. Okay, so 2.2 down, I've then hit it low in the face. That ball has come out super low. It's spun up. It's not going to be my longest of shots there. You can see that's dropped back on a little bit of distance because it's spun up a lot more through my gear effect to that low strike. But again, loft has helped me out. We generally see patterns of strikes being, as a missed strike, being low in the face with a fairway wood from the ground. That's naturally going to launch lower. So again, going back to your 15 degree, maybe hit down, present less loft, and then you hit it low in the face, maybe as a pattern for you. Very, very difficult to flight it. That again is where that loft is going to help you out. Yeah, great flight. Best one of the lot with the Titleist there. Okay, so like I say, most of the brands do offer this type of wood. Not all of them call it a 4 wood. Some, like the Callaway there, call it a 3HL high launch. Sometimes you see the draw bias fairway woods have a tiny bit more loft. So in the Ping, for instance, the G430 SFT, a standard comes in at 16 degree, where the standard 3 wood will come in at 15 degrees. So you've got some little options there. If you're struggling of flighting that golf ball with that 3 wood, you want a bit more flight on those misses as well. Depending on your delivery, definitely give the 4 wood an option. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and it's a great option for many of you golfers out there. Appreciate you watching the video as always, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.